I wrote this talk a few weeks ago from the perspective of turning 60, and which you can, depending upon your perspective, you can either say, Dave, you're a young puppy, or you're over the hill, David. And I was thinking, to me, that's up to me to define for myself. I can view myself as a young puppy, or I can view myself as over the hill. It's an energetic thing. It's not a numbers thing. We know that there's a part of an evolution of consciousness that has been happening in the world. Well, hopefully, right? It may not always feel like an evolution, right? But it does trend upward, and like Martin Luther King said, the arc of justice is long. I mean, there's lots of things that trend upward. And one of those things that's trending upward is how we feel and where our energy is. And we're living longer. And I think that's not just a physical thing. It's not just because we're eating more vitamins. It's because we're energetically saying, hey, at 60 and 70, I don't have to act, talk the way my parents or grandparents did when they were 60 or 70. Think how different things were for them. So it's an energetic thing. And as I mentioned, we're passing through summer solstice today, so I'm going to blend that in here because it's time for a mid-year reset. And I love to think of this time as kind of like another New Year's, because the solar system is in the rhythm of saying, okay, something has definitely shifted as of Friday night at 7:42 or whatever it was, and the days are getting shorter now. But it's an energetic time that's expressing itself in nature, and we are inextricably connected to nature. So we can, in a shamanic, medicinal, spiritual way, we can use this time for spiritual ritual. We can be one with nature. So you can choose this day on June 22nd at 11, whatever time it is. This can be a reset. This can be your time of what Myrtle Fillmore described as newing. And she coined that term, I believe. Nobody else uses it. Newing. This process of creating. There's a movie called Begin Again. You've heard of that? We can begin again every day, declaring this day, June 22nd, 11:30 p.m., 2025, as the beginning again, regardless of what's happening in the world. So that's what I want to talk about. And the thought about knowing that the past is just a memory and the future is just imagination, if you look at that, it brings in the sacredness of this moment. So if the past is just a memory, do we want to have shame and regret and coulda, shoulda, woulda, and the tape recordings ruling our lives, or do we want to have the past be a wonderful storehouse for all of the magnificent memories, the beautiful memories that we want to keep? We get to decide what parts of the past have domain over us. And it's interesting to think about when you're remembering something from the past, particularly a trauma, you can reimagine that trauma because your brain is not actually going to a location where the trauma is stored. Your brain is going to the last time you remembered it. It's simply remembering the last time you remembered it. So if you remember things in the past differently, you can start to co-create your past, okay? So, but I'm here to talk about the presence. And Kelly Flanagan, Dr. Kelly Flanagan, wrote this quote where she said, "Don't miss the sacredness of any moment by wishing it was some other way in this moment. By wishing you were somewhere else in this moment. Don't miss the sacredness of any moment. Moment to moment, I will notice my heart closing. And it's my job to say, I will open it back up." Isn't that beautiful? I think it's beautiful. And I think it's why we're here. We're here for many reasons. We're here for community. We're here for insight. But we're here because we believe in doing those spiritual work on ourselves because we know it matters for our lives and it matters for the world. It matters. It matters. So I know that so much feels overwhelming But underneath all of the busyness of our personal lives, there's a completed idea within you that you can think of as a seed. And Michael Beckwith, who I referred to earlier, he said it like this. Think about holding an acorn. And inside that acorn is the completed idea of an entire tree. That is this magnificent thing that it's physically expressed nowhere inside of the acorn. The acorn is just the tiniest thing. But it's going to grow up to be, for redwood trees and sequoias, it can be the tallest tree in the world. But the difference is that we are holding on to the seed of us that is dynamic. We can become, and we are becoming something that is so magnificent that is a painting in progress. It's a masterpiece in progress. So given the right conditions and the right ideas and the right conversations and the right thoughts and the right spiritual practices, that's our environment for change, where this tree that we are gets to blossom into the most beautiful, dynamic thing, and you get to create what it is. Pierre, I always have problems with his name, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said the environment dictates the change. The environment dictates the change. So by making a decision to be in this environment, you have chosen to be away from your iPhones and Android devices for a little while. You have chosen to be away from the news for a little while. You have chosen to be in community for a little while and in the potluck after service. You have chosen all of that because of the miracles and the fertile soil that you are sitting in right now. If you get one idea here that will stay with you for the rest of the week, it's so worth it for your soul. Another idea. I was in who was at the Qigong class that we hosted with Unity San Jose? A couple of you. So I'll share, I'll give you free registration value right now for that class. There was this idea where Qi is the life force of everything. Qi is the energy behind that candle. Qi is God expressing itself, the God by many names. Qi is our lives. It's the life force. But Qi needs something else in Qigong. It needs Yi. Y-I. It needs Yi. And what is Yi? Anybody know? Yi is intention. Yi is intention. And intention is like the thing that tells all that life force where to go and what to do. Because we can take all that life force and we can be somebody completely different. Think about the people through history and through the current people in the news who chose something to do with their life force that's not really good for the world. They have a life force that is no more powerful than your life force. So what is your life force going to do? Is your life force going to be being the best person you can possibly be? Is it going to be bringing a miraculous, whenever we're at Trader Joe's, Jen says hi and says the person's name behind the counter and she smiles and they have she brings that light wherever she goes. That's a part of her intention. That's how she directs her Qi, and it's real. It makes a difference. So how we direct our intentions is consequential. So what we're going to do is and Michael, I'd like your help for this part. If you don't have something to write with, now you can take a note on your iPhone, and you can do that, by the way, at any service, and I'll know you aren't texting. You can grab a piece of paper. There's paper and clipboards. If you raise your hand, Adrian will bring you one if you need one. But before and then up here as well, Adrian, there's a couple more up here. Yeah. Yeah, she'll come back. There you go. So let's just go within for a moment. Just leave the notes behind for a moment, because this process very much comes from the inside. Before every prayer, before every intention setting exercise, it's good to just ground ourselves in gratitude for a moment. Because it's said that gratitude is the quickest way to change consciousness. So as we contemplate this, think about someone you're grateful for. Someone. And think about an aspect of the world that you're grateful for. Think about an aspect of yourself that you're grateful for. And now think of somebody else that you're grateful for, and someone else. And you can either jot these things down, or you can just think of them. And you can come out of this meditation anytime to take a note. Just reminding ourselves, there's a saying that's, the main thing is the main thing, and our job is to make the main thing the main thing. And to me, one of those main things is, it's good to be alive. It's a miracle to be alive. I'm grateful. And now thinking about the reason why we have intentions is because we want to ignite transformation. And in order to ignite transformation, we need a fire of some sort, and that fire comes in passion and emotion. So as we think of our intentions, think about not what somebody else would want, not what society would want, but what you're passionate about, what makes you happy, what makes your soul happy. And what does your heart really want? And through this process, beginning now, you can begin to thread together any parts of bullets that will become intentions. Maybe it's a word. Maybe it's revising an earlier intention. And this can be an intention for yourself, or an intention for others, an intention for the world. I'm going to read this quote. I don't know where I got it from, but it's useful for right now. It says, "Train your focus. There's no need to worry about how it will all work out. Worrying about the how will trip you up. No matter what happens, it's all happening for your highest good, so what does it matter how it happens? Make your intention, your crystal clear intention, your priority. Focus on your love for what you do. Focus on service. Focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what you want, not what someone else says you should want. And when you lead yourself in this way, you'll be guided through manifestations that are far beyond what you could have imagined. And so maybe just jot down some of these feeling tones that come from your intention for yourself, and or your intention for others, and or your intention for the world. And a couple of more guiding questions about this intention. One is a question that I ask routinely, and that is, what is the highest vision for my life at this time? What's the highest vision for my life at this time? And it can be a feeling. It doesn't have to be words. It can be a picture, a mental picture. It's your vision. And next is, what do I need to let go of so this vision can manifest in my life? What do I need to let go of? What no longer serves me? What thought, way of being, habit, person, place, aspect, emotion no longer serves me? I'm tired of carrying it. And finally, taking a deep breath, just picture some of these ideas. It could be anything that's occurred to you over the last 5 minutes. And just form a visual picture or a snapshot in your mind of you having already achieved that. You are that. And what is that snapshot? Hate to use a term that's so old, but I am 60. I can say, imagine a Polaroid. I know we all know what Polaroids are. Of you. What are you doing when you have achieved your vision? What does it look like? Just capture the essence of that in a snapshot. So I'm going to close with a couple of quotes. One is often attributed to Albert Einstein, but he did not say it. Nobody knows who said it, but it doesn't matter because it sounds pretty good to me. The quote goes like this: "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality." So everything is energy. Match the frequency of what you want. Be that energy, and that's what you get. The other one is from Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. "With every thought and intention, you are sending rockets of desire out into the vibratory field that say yes, that say no. You're saying, I want this, I don't want that. And with every one of these desires, every one of these intentions, when you become a vibrational match with what you want, the universe conspires to give it to you." And she's saying the same thing as Einstein said. So that's the energy that I carry forth. I'm grateful for this, and so it is.